Alrighty. So, Miss Knack, how what are your current duties within your current position?
Okay, so this position is called Vice President for Institutional Effectiveness and Advancement.
Okay.
And the component parts are grants, institutional effectiveness and accreditation, strategic priorities, marketing and communications, recruitment, and the college's foundation.
Alrighty. And which one do you spend most of your time to on a weekly schedule?
Probably strategic priorities and the institutional effectiveness piece. So let's just say institutional effectiveness, not as much on the advancement side of the house, even though if you look at what I do with oversight of marketing and recruitment, marketing and communication and recruitment, a bit happens there. The foundation is probably the area where I don't have to spend a lot of time because we have an executive director who really has to do all the fund development, the leadership of fund development and the accounting of all the donations and that come to scholarships or for whatever purposes they are there.
Okay.
But I would say the institutional effectiveness side of the house more so, but definitely a good bit of time with marketing, communications, and recruitment.
Wonderful. So I read your answer in regards to culture, and we talked a little bit about the interim president, and also in your response that you guys are moving to a one college mission.
Okay, so let me just start out by saying, so when I first got here, I came in 2014, and I came as a campus president. So I was campus president of the downtown campus, which was probably the most diverse of the campuses. You had international students. It was kind of like the first place that they would stop. You had African American students from the neighborhoods around. You had white students. You had older students. You had the programs that would draw all kinds of students from all walks of life. So we had adult education. We had post-secondary adult education, which is the adult vocational education, I should say. We had technical programs. So some of the gateways that people use in order to get to colleges were there on the campus, and it made it more diverse. So, but what our president was interested in doing was and we had 4 other campuses with different kinds of makeup. I mean, in terms of, as I said, the diversity wasn't as great because you could go to the North Campus and you'd probably have more African Americans. You could go to the South Campus, you'd probably have more white. You might go to the Kent Campus and you might have another group that was in majority there. But you'd find a different culture at every one of those sites because it was either because of the leadership that had been there, but mainly it was that part of town that was being served by and what that campus had grown to be known for over the years. So it might be a program. Our South Campus has a lot of the arts programs. Our Kent Campus has a lot of the business programs. Our North Campus has a lot of the health programs. So the culture was kind of built around the types of programs that were there, but also the people who took part in those programs, the people that surrounded the campuses. And I mentioned something about the bridges, and it's very true that those bridges kind of divide different areas, the north, the south, the east, the west, from each other, and which definitely creates cultures. But I want to get back to, so our president was very interested in the one college concept. Mm-hmm. So, we basically, as you look at it, you think, well, yes, you want to be one college because we really are not 5 separate colleges of a district. We were 5 campuses of a college. And so you really wanted to have that one college concept. But our leadership's idea, our president's idea of doing the one college, we had to learn as we moved. So first year I was campus president. Second year I was campus president, executive chair of education and technology, which meant I had responsibility for those programs and the faculty. Well, actually those programs and their curriculum. And then the third year I was campus president, executive chair for STEM. So I each time, so you think, first year, I only had a certain amount of time to spend there with, dealing with being a campus and campus president. Second year, I'm less the campus president because things start to be centralized. So for example, I know that this sounds a little convoluted, but it's just as confusing as it was for me living through it. So,
yeah.
so the first, I think after the first year, or during the first year, we were told that student services would no longer report to the campus. So every campus had a dean of students and with a student organization, but they all kind of reported up to a vice president for students. So that went away, and the student services then reported to the vice president for student services at the central office. Same thing happened with facilities. So there's less and less that is now that you have direct oversight for, but you have responsibility for it. And so each time, it seems like each iteration, whether it was first year to second year to third year, things kept moving around. We kept getting some level of reorganization. But I don't think any one of us realized what the end would be. So we were moving toward the one college but the way that the one college was envisioned, and by our president was to have more centralized activity and less on the campus. And so if you look at the campuses now, if you go over to the downtown campus, it feels like it doesn't have heart. You go to the campus, and there's activity, but it just seems like there's something that's missing. And a part of it is that there isn't an opportunity to create community the way that the organization has flowed.
Yeah.
Not good, bad, or indifferent, but that's just the way that it is. And it unfolded. We didn't have a plan that we could look at and say, year one, this is what we're going to go. Year two, and the end is going to look like this. What we had to watch was things unfolding. Okay, this is going over there. Okay, this is going over here. Oh, you don't want that, so you put that over here. So you think about even the plate that I have with the foundation. The foundation at one point reported to, let's say the foundation at one point really had more of a direct connection to the president. The recruitment had more of a connection to student services. The rest of it really was in the mix. Mm-hmm. But I have gone from campus president responsible for campus and all of what took place on the campus, scheduling, students, you name it, academic affairs, to being over educational and technology, but having some responsibility for a campus, to being over STEM, having responsibility for the campus to some extent, but also all of the faculty, like 150 some faculty in STEM from across the institution. I mean, truly responsible for them, to not have a responsibility for any faculty and moving into a vice president's role. Now, I'm happy for the vice president's role because it really has all of the things that I know them. I mean, I've been over student services, so I know recruitment. Mm-hmm. I've been over grants, so I know grants. I've been over, so the mixture that I have is a great and grand mixture, but it has come about in a way that I've come to this position very differently than I saw myself getting to this position. And by the way, all of the campus presidents became associate vice president or associate provost. It just so happened that this position was open, and I had the experience to move into the vice presidency.
Oh,
that
nice.
I'm in this role. So it's it's been a lot of moving about, and I'm not telling you all of the moving parts that were there. So you can see, I mean, it's nothing. You can't really, the way that you're managing or the way that I manage change is I enjoy where I am.
Mm-hmm.
I work to the best of my ability to make sure that everything is, as stellar and as wonderful and great for our students as possible, but always remembering that that's the reason why we're here. Mm-hmm. And not because we want to, entertain our thoughts of grandeur, but and so I've been able to be pretty successful in each one of those areas. So I can clearly, I can definitely state that I don't have any. There are people who think, well, did I do a good job, or is that the reason why it happened? Is it because such and such? I know the job that I did. I know what I was able to accomplish. And in the very short time that I had responsibility for each one of the areas, and I think if you spoke with any of the faculty or staff that I worked with, they would say the same thing. But still, change has kind of an effect on you because you really want to see something through to the end. Mm-hmm. You want to know what the plan is, and so even in my seasoned state, I can still say that there are lessons that I've learned from, just the way that change, let's say, was processed and progressed throughout this organization. Mm-hmm. So I'm talking too much, Phil.
No. This is all good. So, so I know you had two roles within the change of a one college concept, correct? From basically owning the full-time 150 faculty, then you moved into the VP position where you're not managing those individuals anymore, correct?
No, I don't have faculty at all. I have staff. I have enough staff. They can be cranky enough for me.
I hear you. So what was your main role at the beginning of the one college concept? What did you do, and how did you help? How did you approach that change?
Okay, so the one college concept, really, the idea of it was actually presented, I think, at our convocation. So after probably about 3 or 4 months after I got here. But that didn't mean that anything happened right then, because the idea was that a student, regardless of what campus they went to, would have that, we'll say, the same experience.
Correct.
In other words, you could go to any Nordstrom's, all over the universe, and it may be one smaller, maybe larger, whatever, but supposedly you can have the same experience. Now, as a Nordstrom shopper, I can tell you differently, but neither here nor there. So it really was supposed to be that way. Mm-hmm. But then the idea was that you can't really do it if the person, let's say, if you want student services to be the same at every campus, you can't do it if you have 5 different leaders who have responsibility for it. Mm-hmm. So in order to be consistent, then all of the deans, actually all of student services was then made to, all student services then reported to a new vice president because that was a new position, vice president for student services, who at that point decided to reorganize all of student services in order to adjust to that one college concept, which means we got rid of all the deans.
Oh my goodness.
The dean for all the campuses. I mean, it's a book. So, as I say, it's not good, bad, or indifferent. It's just what happened. Mm-hmm. Are the students having a better experience? I'm not sure that they are, because at the same time, here's what you learn about, how much change can one endure, or can an institution endure without just kind of, falling on its face to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
So at the same time as all of this reorganization is taking place, we are putting in a